and good evening to everyone. A very warm welcome to all participants joining us today from different parts of the world. I am Dr. Saki Mushtaq, founder and lead coordinator of the Global Entomologist Network, and it is my pleasure to open Gen Seminar 8 entitled Pollinators at Risk: Bee Science, Agriculture, and Global Food Security. Pollinators, particularly bees, play a critical role in sustaining agricultural productivity, maintaining biodiversity, and ensuring global food security. However, these vital species are increasingly under threat due to habitat loss, climate change, pesticide use, and other anthropogenic pressure. Today's seminar will highlight the latest scientific insights into bee biology, examine the major challenges facing pollinators, and discuss sustainable strategies to protect and conserve these essential contributors to our food systems and ecosystems. We hope this session will be both informative and thought provoking, and we encourage active engagement from all the respected participants. Allow me to briefly introduce Jen. The Global Entomologist Network is an international platform that connects entomologists, students, researchers, and stakeholders across the globe. GEN is committed to fostering collaboration, mentorship, knowledge sharing, and capacity building to advance sustainable agriculture and environmental stewardship. With these brief remarks, let us begin this important and timely discussion. I now have the pleasure of inviting the GEN ambassador, Ms. Asma Talib, to introduce our esteemed speaker for today's seminar, Dr. Ramzi Al Sarhan from Saudi Arabia. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Saqib. It's my pleasure to introduce our speaker for today's seminar, Dr. Ramzi Al Sarhan, a distinguished honeybee scientist and conservation expert associated with the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations and key apicultural initiatives in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Dr. Ramsey has extensive expertise in honeybee research, indigenous bee conservation, and sustainable agricultural management. He has served as project manager for the local honeybee race conservation project at the Ministry of Environment, Water and Agriculture in Saudi Arabia, where he has led efforts in genetic characterization, queen rearing, disease diagnostic, and community training to strengthen the resilience of local bee populations. He holds a PhD in entomology with the focuses on honeybee reproductive biology and integrated pest management, and has contributed to bridging scientific research with practical strategies that enhance bee health and productivity. Through his work with FAO and national partners, Dr. Ramsey brings deep insights into pollinator science, sustainable beekeeping systems, and their critical role in food security and ecological sustainability. Dr. Ramsey, we warmly welcome you to take the floor.
To me to be with you today. And thank you so much, Dr. Asma and my friend from KSU, for this nice introduction. And I would like to thank the organizers also and all participants for joining this important discussion. Actually, when we are think about food security, biodiversity, and healthy ecosystems, we often talk about land, water, and climate. And there is a silent workforce that connects all of these elements together. And actually, it is pollinators, our topic today. Pollinators, as most of us knows, that it contains different creatures like bees, butterflies, birds, and bats, and other pollinating species.
Excuse me, Dr. Can you please share your screen?
However, pollinators are under increasing threat. Habitat loss, climate change, pesticide misuse, diseases, and invasive species are pushing many pollinators to the brink. Their decline is not just an environmental issue. As we all know, it is an agricultural, economic, and food security challenge that affects us all. So it's not only, we are not talking about environment, but it is a comprehensive issue for all of us. I will just move to the next slide. Maybe it is frozen. Can I reshare?
Yeah, please.
Is it appear now?
Yes.
Now?
Yes.
Okay. So pollinators are, as we all know, it's living organisms that transfer pollen from the male structures of the flowers to the female structures, enabling fertilization and the production of seeds and fruits as well. This ecological service is fundamental to the reproduction of flowering plants and the stability of natural and agricultural ecosystems. So pollinators include a wide range of species, as we can see on the slide. Bees, of course, bees, it has different also subspecies, butterflies, birds and bats, beetles and flies, but bees are the most efficient pollinator in the in our ecosystem. So why bees matter to agriculture? Maybe you know that above 75% of food crops are depending on pollinators, specifically on bees. And it is not only making pollination and that's it. No, it improves the yield and the quality. So it's quantitatively and qualitatively has an impact on the crops as well. And more than 3/4 of leading food crops benefit from animal pollination with bees, providing the majority of these services. So pollination by bees enhances crop yield by increasing fruit set and seed production. In addition to quantity, bee pollination improves crop quality, as we mentioned. And we have, as you see in the picture, different categories like nuts, including almond, cashew, macadamias, fruits, apple, under the fruits, avocado, berries, cherries, melons, whatever. And in veggie, also we have beans, cucumber, eggplant, okra, and also tomato, and blah, blah, blah. It is a long list. And in oil, we have different also crops depending on the bees and other pollinators in this regard. So, as you can see in this graph, that the share of global food crop in percentage, as we mentioned before in the last slide, that 70% are pollinator-dependent crops, and only between 20 to 25 the non-dependent crops. But is this has a value? Yes, of course. It has an economic value, and also in both ways, for the beekeeper and for the nations and even globally. So pollinators contributes to about 35 of global crop production. Estimated economic value between 235 to 577 billion dollar annually. So it is an important and impactful sector, and it is critical for fruits, as we mentioned, vegetables, nuts, and oil seeds. In other ways, we can say that it supports income of farmers and in the nutrition, and as a result, the food security worldwide. Is the voice is clear or not?
Yes, Doctor. The voice is very clear.
Okay, thank you. So we can see here in this graph also that the economic value of pollination ranged between it reached up to $500 billion annually. In this table, you can see the crop groups and the pollinators and how it impacts the quality or quantity, and example of countries. You can see, for example, the fruits, including apple, almond, strawberry, citrus, mango, depends on honeybees, wild bees, bumblebees, solitary bees in pollination, and impact the fruit set by 15 to 60%. Fruit weight and size increase, seed number increase, sugar content increase, and at the end, farmer income increased. This is happened also in USA, Brazil, Germany, India, and China. Regarding vegetables, or also cucumber, tomato, pepper, also honeybees is there. In aromatic medicine, aromatic and medicinal plants, honeybee is one of the major pollinators, and it increases the seed yield up to between 40 to 70%, and oil and nutrient content. So in India and Egypt and Brazil as well. So what I want to say is that we are in front of an important member in pollination, honeybee, and we have to look really closely to this point, and we have to press on this issue, as it is an important creature Allah gave us in this life. Here in this graph, you can see that there are many factors influence on bee visitation to flowers. So either the bee will visit the flower because of its color, or because of its structure that is developed to be suitable for bees. So some flowers, the bees cannot send their tongue to take the nectar from inside, but the crops that depends on bees, it has a special features that allow the bees to take the nectar and make a mutual benefit by pollination, or by flower odor. Also, one of the attractant to the bees, the odor of the plants or the crops, and as well the nectar and pollen availability. Actually, as we all know, that it depends on nectar for carbohydrate, and for pollen for protein. And you know, it is all essential for the development of the colony, bee colony. Okay, here we are talking about pollination and global food security. What does this mean? It means that it supports food availability, improves nutrition diversity, and sustains smallholder livelihoods. Actually, it is, maybe I know about the region around me, that we see that the beekeepers themselves depends mainly on what they are producing of honey. Especially in Saudi Arabia, they depend on that way. But maybe we start in FAO knocking this door, and we, inshallah, the people know now the importance of bees as pollinators. And before they were, sometimes the farmers complain against beekeepers that their bees are coming and damaging my crop. Actually, we try to change this vision, And alhamdulillah, the people now knows the importance of bees in this regard. You can see in this graph some important thing. Is it clear, the graph in the right side?
Yes, doctor.
Okay. You can see here on the diagram that illustrate the pollination and agriculture food security system and how ecosystem services, pollinators, farm management, and human outcomes are tightly interconnected. It is not just yield chart. It is a system map, if you can notice, showing cause and effect relationships across nature, farming, and society. So you can see on the left side of the graph, the ecosystem services and biodiversity. The ecosystem services, the graph highlights services such as pollination, biological pest control, and nutrient cycling. These services are naturally provided by ecosystems, not manufactured inputs, then act as foundation of agriculture productivity. The second thing is biodiversity and pollinators. Wild and managed pollinators like bees, insects are central for this process and for this pollination. So greater biodiversity, more resilient and effective pollination. So loss of biodiversity weakens these services, making farming more fragile. So what we can say in this regard, on this left side, that pollination is not an isolated services, making farming more, sorry, we can say it is not isolated services. It depends on healthy and diverse ecosystem. In the center of this graph, you can see that pollinators directly feed into agricultural production, influencing crop yield, crop quality. Crop quality, as you know, it is size, shape, nutritional value, and stability of harvests across seasons. And at the bottom, you can see the pink box showing crop and landscape management, which acts as a control lever. Habitat conservation, diversified cropping, reduced pesticide pressure, and pollinator-friendly landscapes. And this management feeds back into ecosystem services, creating either a positive feedback loop اللي هي that is sustainable intensification, or a negative loop اللي هو ecosystem degradation and as well declining the yield. And on the right side, if you can notice that the outcomes of on the right include crop yield, as will happen farm income, which improve the livelihood security, and as well the food security, nutrition. I try to, in this graph, to summarize most of the points. So now we are moving to the science and of bee health. In fact, the strong queens and good genetics means healthy, well-bred queens ensure strong colonies and better disease resistance and stable pollination services. So it is not segregated process. Everything depends on the other. And adequate forage, diverse and continuous floral resources provide essential nectar and pollen needed for nutrition, immunity, and brood development. Disease and pest management, like early detection and integrated management of pests and diseases, especially varroa and nosema. Maybe you know that varroa is really a very big threat to bees. It reduces colony losses if we make good management and sustain pollinator population. The key message is healthy bees equal resilient pollinators equal reliable crop pollination. So what are the major threats facing bees? In fact, diseases and parasites are at the first, habitat loss, pesticides, and climate change. Maybe all of us hear about CCD that caused a big loss in colonies all over the world, and it is a phenomenon whereby there are unexplained rapid losses of adult worker bees in managed bee colonies, example اللي هو honey bee colonies in the USA. Really, in USA, in some years, they lost above 60% of their colonies. And it is really a big crisis if you are talking about beekeepers. And as if it is, let's say, a major income for them. So in this graph, we can see that what are the challenges, the threats on bees. We have climate change, high temperature and low temperatures, high humidity affecting the bees. Also, honeybee diseases, as we mentioned, that we have many diseases and pests attacking honeybee, causing losses if there's no good management, especially in managed colonies. And also pesticides, fungicides, and insecticides. It's also a big crisis, causing really a big loss in bees. And also the broken of forests, deforestation. So it causes also no habit for the bees and affecting their life, which cause at the end to be die. So you can see here that the major threats is diseases, then pesticides, habitat loss, and climate change at the end. How the climate change cause impact or affect the life of bees? Actually, the climate change is increasingly recognized as a major driver of pollinator decline. Changes in temperature and precipitation, no more rain sometimes, and pattern affect flowering phenology, leading to mismatches between pollinators and floral resources. And extreme weather events such as heat waves, droughts, and floods directly impact pollinators' survival and reproduction. And as this will cause reduction in nectar and pollen, which they needed for their survival and for their growth. Now we are talking about science and innovation solutions. In fact, science research plays a fundamental role in understanding the pollinator decline and developing effective solutions for these problems. Research helps also identify the better, smart hive technologies, for example. And this is really start now applied everywhere. And here in Saudi Arabia, we made some experiments on this smart hives. You can monitor your bees. You know if it is in danger by the number of bees, by the temperature inside, or by the weight of the colony itself. So the smart solutions, one of the good tools that is that we are looking forward maybe to develop it more and to adopt it everywhere. And also one of the good tools is early warning systems. It is an important tool if you have a good application by which all stakeholders, including governance people, to work together to establish a good system, collecting data, understanding the problems, and depending on the regions, for example, that every year, for example, in this time, there is a threat in this area. So we have to make inspection, to make feedback, and then it will be a good alarm or warning to the people or to the beekeepers to start either shifting from these places or to use special practices as well. And also to use an improved breeding to make selection depending on the traits to be able to withstand and resilient the harsh conditions or climate changes or whatever. يعني here I summarize the points. I said that the role of research in protecting pollinators represented by identifying causes of pollinator decline, like diseases, pesticides, climate, developing early warning systems and smart hive technologies, improving bee breeding and disease resistance, informing the evidence-based policies and conservation strategies, supporting sustainable pollinator friendly farming and practices. I have also a point I want to talk about the policies. As I mentioned here, really we need an effective pollinator protection requirements policies and institutional framework to at national and international levels. These policies should promote sustainable agriculture and biodiversity conservation and responsible use of agrochemicals. Really, we are facing big troubles from agrochemicals in general. So institutional coordination among governments, research institutions, international organizations, and civil society is essential to scale up successful pollinator protection initiatives. In Saudi Arabia, for example, we are now developing a new policies or updating the old policies to be able helping the beekeepers and also to help the sustainability in beekeeping sector. Here we have to talk about the role of farmers and beekeepers. So it is not the responsibility of beekeeper himself alone and or farmer alone. It is as I mentioned at the end, collaboration between both of them. So we have to reduce pesticide use. This is responsibility of farmer and adopt pollinator friendly practices. There are maybe sometimes the farmer, he can collaborate with the beekeeper, give him the dates, for example, of spraying chemicals to shift or to immigrate his bees during this time until he finish using his chemicals, or depending on organic materials to control some of the crops diseases or pests. Maintain flowering plants and diverse habitats year-round. Protect nesting sites and water sources. Promote healthy colonies through good beekeeping management. Really, a beekeeper, he should follow good beekeeping management practices. Really, has a serious impact on the sustainability of the bees and colonies. So protecting pollinators is a key component of the transition toward sustainability. Integrating pollinator considerations into agricultural planning, land use management, and climatic adaptation strategies enhances ecosystem services and resilience. Investments in pollinator conservation generate multiple co-benefits, including improved food security, biodiversity conservation, and rural livelihood. So the take-home messages after this maybe a little bit long presentation. Pollinators, especially bees, are essential for agriculture, ecosystems, and human well-being. Their decline poses serious risks to global food security and nutrition. The challenges facing pollinators are complex but manageable through science-based intervention, informed policies, and collective action of all stakeholders. Protecting pollinators today, maybe here we can say that protecting pollinators today means secure food tomorrow. Thank you very much. I hope it wasn't a bore presentation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ramzi. Such a nice presentation. Now it's time for the question answer session. I request that the one who want to ask, either he or she can send questions in the chat box, or if someone want to ask directly to our respected speaker, just please raise your hand. Thank you very much. Okay, Dr. Ramzi, we have some questions in the chat box. I request if you read those questions and please answer one by one.
Where is it?
In the chat box.
Okay, I open the chat box.
Yeah, chat, please.
As bees cannot recognize red color, how they come on red flower for nectar and pollen. So this is a good question. Sometimes, as I mentioned, that they depend on odor of the plants itself. So it attracts the bees, not the color in this case. I hope you hear me, Muhammad Wasif. Can you hear me?
Yeah, your voice is clear. I think he's hearing you.
Okay. As I told you, as we mentioned, maybe here in the slide, I will open it here. That the bees depends on the color sometimes. Sorry, and it depends. Where is it? It has okay, okay. Either flower color or flower structure and shape. It use its legs for that, and flower odor, and also the nectar and the pollen availability. So sometimes, as you know, that the bees know the location of the apiary, or sorry, the forage plants, depending on a group of bees that go and discover the areas and give them by special dance the dimensions that guide the bees to the location or the place of good forage plants. Is there any other question?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going. Okay. Someone asked me to talk in Urdu.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a specific training? No, this is not by me. Okay. Thanks for it's very educational. What practices farmer can adopt despite reducing pesticide use to protect bees' habitat? Okay, this is a very important question. Actually, sometimes the farmer himself is a beekeeper, by the way. And if not, they are collaborate with each other. So in this regard, if he need to use chemicals, as I told you, there should be arrangement between him and the beekeeper to either spray the short, what they call it, for some pesticides has a very short period to impact the bees. It can be disappeared quickly, so they can spray the pesticides at evening because the bees at that time will be in the colonies, or to inform the beekeeper to take his bees, for example, for certain period until the impact of pesticides is gone. Okay. Please, what are the pollinator-friendly practices? We talked about it. Like we said, use organic chemicals, organic pesticides, like from extracted from aromatic plants. They are using some plants to control varroa, for example, some oils, and also formic acid can be used, oxalic acid, that is organic, not affecting the bees. This is one thing. And as I told you, there should be a good collaboration. This is one of the practices. The beekeeper himself should take care of the health of his bees also. This is the most common practices. If we are totally dependent on chemicals use of pest control, how can we sustain honeybee populations? Can we rear honeybee in field near our crops? I think I answered this question. There should be collaboration, because chemicals, no way it will kill the bees. So there should be collaboration. There should be good connection between farmer and beekeeper to immigrate his bees during spraying if it is long-term persistence chemicals. If we want to do beekeeping, from where we will get the queen? This is very good question. Actually, to start beekeeping, you don't have to buy bees from anyone. You should buy from trust people. This is not an easy issue. So if you want to start with the weak queen, because queen is the colony, let's be frank, queen is the colony. If the queen is bad, all the traits inside the colony will be bad, will be not good. So we will buy the queen from trustful person who is producing good quality and of queens, depending on selection for honey productivity, selection for disease resistance, and also to be calm and not aggressive bees. Okay. Which kind of bees are the most important pollinators? Apis bees or no apis? No, it is Apis mellifera. You are right. It is Apis mellifera. It is the most good, or the good bee for pollination. Okay, I answer this. How to increase pollination of bees and other natural, how to increase the pollination of bees, what and other natural enemies? I can't understand the question. It is not good. It is not connected to each other. How to increase the pollination of bees, maybe in the presence of the natural enemies. I told you this is good practices of the beekeeper himself. Hornets, for example, hornets. You should either control the hornet early for the lay eggs and reproduce by killing the queen. So this will be safe, or you transfer your bees to other area without this threat. If there is, for example, the eater bee flies, so there is some birds eating the bees, like urwar, we name it in Arabic. So in this case, either you make follow it in this case. Is this did this lecture describe the future perspective, like prediction using different machine learning? Yes, yes, yes. Actually, it is started. Actually, there's a new technology used. They name it Be Safe. Be Safe. This Be Safe, like a room, contains a certain number, 50 colonies together in one body. every colony has its entrance, and the temperature is controlled, the humidity is controlled. Also, if there is need to feed and the forage plants are not flowering or blooming, there's a feeding system inside. And as you mentioned here, we predict through scientific knowledge, then tell to the farmer for future protection after 50 years or 100 years. What should we do to protect for long term? Actually, as I told you, it is not depending on one person or one member in this society. It is a comprehensive work. Should everyone take responsibility and be serious. And believe me, bees are essential not only for pollination. Even it is important for pollination, also it is important by its products. So we are talking about really a holy creature. Okay. Aftab, I'm ready for any publication to start, no problem. Uh, Under changing climatic change conditions, how can we protect our honeybee? Do we need to provide them certain diets that can help? Yes, listen, as I told you, there sometimes happening mismatching between the flowering and the nectar production. In this case, if there is hunger in the bees, you don't have to stay away. You have to give feeding by sugar syrup or by patties protein using pollen grains. In this case, you have to intervene in this to help the bees. As I told you, if there is a good site, you have to immigrate bees to this site. Don't sit away of this responsibility. We can rear the honey bee in desert. Maybe the question answer itself. Yani desert without trees, what is the benefit? So it is not possible. And we are not, listen, we need the bees to produce natural honey. At the end, after pollination, we need it to produce natural honey. So if you put it in desert, you have to give it artificial feeding. So what does this mean? So the production will not be a natural honey. So it is useless. From how global experience, what single policy intervention would you prioritize to most effectively safeguard pollinators in developing countries? Stop pesticides, chemicals. Really, it is a very harm tool we're using by farmers. It affects bees and it is killing a huge number of colonies. But I will tell you something. We are in Saudi Arabia have other challenge. I didn't mention it even in this presentation because it is not, I think, not worldwide. Our challenge here is the importation of bees from abroad. Actually, this process deliver new diseases to Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and affecting our bees. Seriously, there was no Nuzima previously, but now we have Nuzima as one of the serious problems affecting the bees in Saudi Arabia. Okay. I answered this. What are climate effects on pollination? I told you, we mentioned it that maybe here you can see that in the climate that it causes misflowering, flowering. I think. Wait. Okay, it causes flowering mismatch, heat stress, and as a result, reduced nectar and pollen. Is it clear here? Okay. I will check if there's a what. The queen is only reproduction continuously from where get food. Okay, good. Actually, there is what we call nurse bees, the newborn bees inside the colonies. It is responsible, these bees responsible for production of royal jelly to feed the queen all the time. So it depends on this nurse bees, and by which they get she get the food and survive. How does climate change affect bee population? We answer this. What role can young scientists and professional network like global play in translating pollinator research into real world impact? Actually, like, network play in translating pollinator research into okay, this depends on the responsibility of each of us. Actually, for example, I'm specialist in beekeeping, and really we reach to everyone and focus always on the smallholders. Focus on smallholders. If you are talking about the big investors in beekeeping, they are using the tools, they are using the good practices, I'm sure, to maximize their profits. So we need to focus on the small holders in beekeeping. How do bee prioritize native non-native sources when the visual cues are identical? How do bees? They are bees. Listen, when bees start foraging in the any place, in any place, it starts depending on the quantity of the nectar, for example, in this plant. So it is not in the same trip. It will never change its target. So it's collecting depending on the nectar content of the forage plant. Recently in Dubai, Ibrahim Torawi introduced honeybee in desert. Could these type of projects could affect the pollination? I don't know what is the meaning, but maybe what I guess they are not starting the beekeeping in desert as desert. They, for example, use new or sorry, plant crops, plant trees, plant forage plants that are suitable for bees. But in certain periods, they use feeding, as I told you. If the plant gets a disease, then they use too many chemicals, which can also cause more harm to bees. Honey production is a lot of work. What should be done? I told you if there is a necessity, but let's agree on one point. Controlling of crop diseases most likely happened when the bees are not active, and there's no flowering in the tree, in the crops. So bees in this time no need to be there unless there is other side crops. So in this case, uh, you can manage, and the bees should be transferred to other place. Tell me about insecticide that are not affected. Okay, this is easy. This is a bigger group of organic pesticides, organic ornament, what they call it, the oils, the natural oils. They call it natural oils that are extracted from plants. It can be used to control many diseases attacking the bees. But our problem is not only with this, as we said, it is the pesticides used in crops when there is bees around. Yani, for example, here in Saudi Arabia, the bees are affected by spraying locust insecticides during their distribution, which affect colonies everywhere. What are the key commercial and economic contributions of pollinators to modern agriculture? The key commercial and economic contribution of pollinators. يعني, if we save their habitat, if we save their foraging plants, if we save their existence, they will contribute economically higher. As we show you, for example, in most cash crops, it has a very positive impact for the farmers, for the merchants themselves. Which specifically are at the greatest risk? Uh, we don't care about the others. What we are caring about mostly is bees because it produces different products. So honeybee is the greatest pollinator. We should take care about it. Okay. What we mentioned this during the lecture. What role do pollinator play in a global food security? If we have good pollinators, good number of pollinators in the farms, in the protected farming, this means higher quantity and better quality, which uh, increase the quantity of food and cause the food security globally. I think do we have any other? I think we finished the questions, Doctor.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Ramzi. Now,
Yeah.
at the end, I want to ask a few or one or two questions directly from you. First of
Yes.
all, I want to ask about honeybees as
Yes.
pollinators in the open field or the natural ecosystem or
Yeah.
in the agro ecosystem. They are good pollinators. However, in the protected cultivation like the uh, greenhouse-based cultivation, mostly the commercially we used bumblebees.
Bumblebees. Yes.
As much as I know about for the pollination, because inside the glass house or greenhouse, we should need some pollinators to produce or
Yes.
commercially and to introduce.
Yes.
As an entomologist, I just want to ask: can we use honeybees inside the protected cultivation rather than
Mm.
bumblebees? So we can take two advantage at once. Like we can use them for the pollination, and the other side we can get some honey. Is there some kind of practice uh, possible or not scientifically? We need you
It
to
is.
explain.
Thank you, Doctor, for your question. Thank you for shed light on such a topic. Actually, bees are very sensitive to high temperature inside. Okay, it depends on the species, for example. But bumblebees can withstand any heat or because the body of it has a strong or a strong external skeleton, exoskeleton.
Yeah.
So I think it is better than bees in pollination for this reason.
Okay. So I think there may be some other reason behind it why we could not use honeybees in the protected
Yeah.
cultivation, especially if we talk about the high-tech glass houses or greenhouses.
Yes. Yeah. If in this case, yes, yes, in the high tech, yes, you can.
Yeah, is there any possibility or the proposal like now these days in Saudi Arabia, some big agricultural companies, they are
Yes.
making setup for the high-tech uh, greenhouse based or glass house.
Greenhouses. Yes.
But however, they are using some bumblebees imported from some
Because,
multinational company like Cooper or something like that. Why not that the local bees they can use like the honeybees, which are locally adapted to climatic conditions, so they can use them in the glass houses. Not
as I
only
know,
for pollen.
Doctor, as I know that even the efficiency of bumblebees in pollination in the protected farming is higher than bees because its size also is bigger.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So this is, يعني, there are different uh, reasons, but let's agree that it is possible. يعني, as you said, with high tech, it is possible to use the bees or the honeybee in the pollination. But as I told you, maybe the reason is that خلاص, the people used to use bumblebees because it is very productive, and also, the production now is very cheap of the bumblebees. You bring it for this purpose.
Yeah.
Beekeeping needs many management issues, many management practices.
All right. Thank you very much,
Yeah,
Dr. Ramzi,
you
for
are
such
welcome.
a comprehensive and important talk that you delivered today for our respected participants that joined us from globally. Now, I would like to invite the Gen Ambassador, Ms. Ansa Ali, for the closing remarks for today's session. Thank you.
Before that, I really want to thank you all for this really a big interest people, either scientists also and researchers. They are really a good audience, asking different questions that contribute to enrich this discussion. Thank you very much.
حياك الله دكتور حياك الله جزاكم الله خيرا.
You
Yeah,
are
please,
welcome.
Ms. Ansa Ali. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum and thank you very much. As we come to the close of Gen Seminar 8, I would like to sincerely thank our distinguished speaker Dr. Ramzi Al Sarhan for an insightful and thought-provoking presentation. His expert perspectives on honeybee science, pollinator conservation, and sustainable agricultural practices have greatly enriched our understanding of the critical role pollinators play in global food security. I would like to express my appreciation for the Gen team for their continued efforts in organizing this seminar. We also acknowledge the active participation of all the attendees. Your questions, comments, and engagement greatly enriched today's discussion, highlighting the value of collaborative learning and global knowledge exchange within the scientific community. At Global Entomology, we strive to provide scientific education and knowledge to all participants.
Maybe the voice is not clear.
Yeah, I think she uh, are facing some issue. Anyhow,
Okay.
I will continue on her behalf. We are also acknowledge the active participation of all attendees. Your questions, comments, and engagement greatly enriched today's discussion, highlighting the value of collaborative learning and global knowledge exchange within the scientific community. At Global Entomologists Network, we remain committed to promoting collaboration, mentorship, and capacity building among emerging researchers and scientists. Through initiatives like today's seminar, we strive to cultivate a scientifically informed, eco-friendly, and sustainable global community of entomologists. With that, we officially conclude today's seminar. Stay connected, stay innovative. Thank you all. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, Doctor.